Sondre Langas' January move to Derby County has been criticised by a former Wolverhampton Wanderers manager. But how has Sondre Langas responded? He's been in excellent form for Derby County when he has been fit and available to play, and he's also earned himself a call-up to the Norwegian national side. Now, over the course of the last few weeks, former Wolverhampton Wanderers manager Stale Solbakken has publicly expressed that he is not happy with the move that Sondre Langas made. Now, obviously, Sondre Langas joined Derby County, who at that moment in time were suffering in the relegation zone. Now, after joining Derby County on a 4.5-year deal, the 24-year-old has gone on to make, I believe it's 7 appearances for the Rams, playing alongside the likes of Nat Phillips and Matt Clark since joining up with Derby County. Now, obviously, Sondre Langas was previously in Norway playing for Viking, and who knows where his career could have gone had he stayed there. Now, it is of Solbakken's belief that had he stayed with Viking, he could have potentially got a move to a higher European league, potentially one of those top 5 leagues in Europe. And for me, do I disagree? No, I don't disagree that Sondre Langas could have potentially got a move to one of those top 5 divisions. But what I do disagree with is the fact that he was wrong to make the move to Derby County. For me, you never know what is going to come up over the course of 6 weeks, over the course of 8 weeks. And had he waited in January till the summer to make a move, who knows what could have happened? He could have torn his ACL, he could have done his Achilles, he could have done anything, which then potentially takes their moves off the table. We've seen it with Lars-Jørgen Selvesen, had those potential offers earlier on in his career, picked up ACL injuries, and then it obviously ended that opportunity for him at that moment in his career, and now he's obviously moved to Derby County, about 4 or 5 years older than current Sondre Langas is at 24. Now, for me, Sondre Langas has signed a 4.5-year deal at Derby County. Do I believe that he's going to be here for that whole essential 5 years? Probably not. I've seen enough from Sondre Langas to believe that he can step up to the next level, whether that be the top end of the Championship, bottom end of the Premier League. I certainly believe he has the ability to do that. Now, in my opinion, Langas's performances have completely shown why he made the right call. Now, obviously, he's in a position at the moment where he's got a little bit of an injury which he's carrying and playing through at the moment, which could potentially require surgery over the course of the next few weeks. Now, hopefully it doesn't require surgery until the end of the season, which would then see him back in time for obviously the start of the next campaign, but we can't predict that as of right now. Now, over the course of his time at Derby County so far, he's made 7 appearances, 6 starts, playing at centre-back and 1 appearance at right wing-back. And for me, he's a very, very good player. He's in a very good position for Derby County and certainly suits the way that John Eustace is trying to go. Now, obviously, he was signed under the management of Paul Warne, but I don't think he ever actually played for Paul Warne. I believe Paul Warne was sacked before his first game. And for me, when it comes to Sondre Langas, I think he's probably going to be one of the better players in the Championship heading into the 25-26 campaign, whether he's at Derby County or elsewhere, because I do believe that if we don't stay up, I do believe that he'll move on, because I do believe that he's good enough to stay within that top division. Now, I believe Langas has settled in really quickly to this Derby County side, and obviously within the space of his first week, he's been he's been coached by 3 different managers and a range of different coaches, and I believe that he's done the right thing. Now, he says to the Norwegian press, we haven't talked about it much, but for me it was motivation that he said that. I understand his side of it. It's a scary thing with relegation and that part of it, but I have absolutely faith that we won't be relegated. And now I'm sitting here, so he must have seen that it's gone well. Now, I completely agree with Sondre Langas that you're looking at Derby County a few weeks ago, and I've made videos on it, that I thought Derby County had put themselves back into League One. With how long they waited to bring in John Eustace, the failures in the January transfer window. But ultimately, over the course of the last few weeks, we've picked up 3 unexpected wins against 3 sides that, apart from Plymouth, we probably shouldn't have beaten the other 2. And I think Sondre Langas has been a key part of the Derby County side as it's built towards these victories. Now, obviously, he wasn't massively involved in those fixtures. I believe he only actually played in the Blackburn one. I could be wrong here. Yeah, he played in the Blackburn game. I'm not sure if he played Coventry. I think he was injured and sat in the stands for that one because there was a potential for him having to have surgery. But I believe that he's shown in his performances that he's certainly good enough to play at that next level, and he's certainly helped Derby to be a better team. Now, for me, I think that the fact that he's been called up to his national team shows that the Derby County move was the right one. I believe he only had one cap before joining up with Derby County, and if I'm completely honest, I haven't followed Norway. So has he made another appearance? I'm not entirely sure. We'll go and have a look at that right now, because I believe that Langas is a really, really good player, and I do believe that if given the opportunity to play on the national stage, I do believe that he will do very, very well. Now, their previous game was on the 22nd of March against Moldova, and he didn't play, but he wasn't even on the bench. Has he pulled out of the squad? That would be a good question to ask. But it's a very interesting one, because he does have that injury, so maybe they're monitoring that and things like that. But for me, we head back from international duty. I think it's in just over a week's time now, where Derby County will face up against Preston North End, and hopefully Langas is available for that. Do I think that he's going to be in the starting 11? Probably not, because you've got to look at the way that back three has been performing with Fozzie, Clark and Phillips, and I think they've done really well. And it's one of those where Langas came into Derby without a pre-season, and having this time on the bench, sort of just sitting out a little bit, I think it'll be massively important for him sort of heading into the summer and things like that. Now, I understand that some people are going to turn around and go, well, we've got 8 games left. He can't just sit and not play. And I agree. That's why he should be on the bench. He should be ready and available so long as he is, and he's fit enough to play, because we've seen Derby over the course of the last few months not necessarily look after their players and not necessarily look after their fitness levels and things like that. And I think that's something John Eustace is really trying to do now he's at Derby County. Obviously, we have picked up a few knocks since Eustace has come in. I'm not going to blame Eustace for the injury situation we've got going on, but I certainly believe that conversations will be had over the summer about how to change, obviously, the fitness of the players, how to change the injuries, how to make sure that players are staying fit and being fit. And I do think that will come with conversations around training platforms and things like that. Less gym work, less running, less pitch work. And ultimately, in my opinion, I think that's a benefit for the future of Derby County. Now, Sondre Langas came to Derby, and I don't actually believe he's had a bad game at Derby. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I believe that most of his performances have been fairly decent. Some may question the QPR game, but ultimately I think that everybody had an off night on that one. Some may question the Middlesbrough game, but I don't think he was bad in that one. I think ultimately we lost in that game due to an error, a defensive error with Caden Jackson. So it's a very, very interesting one to see how this next 8 games is going to go for Sondre Langas. Is he going to potentially require surgery? That's a question on the lips of many. It's something that has been addressed over the course of the last few weeks by John Eustace, who mentioned that at the moment he's playing through it, but we'll have to assess it as it goes. But that's something which we'll have to get into in another video. Now, if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, I'll catch you in my next video.